welcome everybody to Apocrypha Apocalypse. I am Gary Gaza Michuta, and it's great to be with you today. Hope I got that right. Yes, another day, another chill stream, folks. It's great to be with you today. Lots of chaos coming up to today. What was next on my list, what I was planning on doing today for the chill stream, was Theodore of Mopsuestia, which, if you guys know your church history, you realize that Theodore of Mopsuestia is somewhat of an odd bird. He's from the Antiochian school of scripture interpretation, which focuses on the literal sense of scripture. He also ran into lots of theological issues. In fact, he was condemned, and a lot of his writings are destroyed. So we know about Theodore mainly through secondary sources. Hence the problem. Besides that, he's also Syrian. So that's also a linguistic problem. So actually for a couple of weeks, as I've been trying to prepare PowerPoint slides in advance and doing fresh research, I have been striking out time and time again with Theodore of Mopsuestia. All I could really find is secondary or tertiary sources, just not the type of stuff that we do here on the Apocrypha Apocalypse. And by the way, you know, one of the few early church fathers that I had to punt on was Ephraim of Syria, Ephraim the Syrian, because there's just not a lot of information available on Ephraim in English, and that was the best I could do, is just give some secondary sources and move on. So I was thinking about doing that with Theodore Mopsuestia. And that was my game plan. I was just going to share the secondary sources I have about this early church father. And then Dr. David Zavaris comes along. And Dr. David, God bless his soul, sends me a bunch of PowerPoints, or PDFs, I should say, on Theodore and related material. And so he was able to find some pretty interesting stuff. Fortunately, there's just no way I could digest it all, put it into PowerPoint form, and give you the presentation today. Hence the scrambling, right? So now what am I going to do? Because I promised everybody I'd be here, and I am. I was going to have a Theodore Mopsuestia presentation, which I don't. So what am I going to do? Well, luckily, I'm just going to have to go with something that I did prepare for a while back, and that is something that I don't know if I really put, I know it's in my book, but I'm not sure exactly where. And that is a codex we're going to look at, I should say. The Codex of Claromontanus. And so that's what we're going to do today. It's an interesting little story about this little book of the Bible that includes a canon list. We're going to look at the canon list. We're going to look at scholars about the canon list, put this into the big picture of what we've been painting so far here on the Apocrypha Apocalypse chill streams. And then that buys me some time. That sometime over Christmas, by the way, Merry Christmas for those of you that I might not see. I will be scrambling to see if I can get something together for Theodore Mopsuestia for the next chill stream. When is the next chill stream, you ask? I don't know. It could be the day after Christmas, which would be Friday, or it could be next week. I honestly don't know. And the same thing's true with team streams too. Typically, we try to do team streams Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturday, but since Thursday is Christmas, I doubt if we're going to do a team stream on Christmas. In fact, I'm pretty much positive we're not going to do a team stream on Christmas. So are we going to do it tomorrow? Maybe. I don't know. So lots of question marks today. So anyway, so that's the update. We're going to be talking about the Codex Claromontanus and the list that's involved there. We're going to actually take a look at the manuscript. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So I actually have a lot of pictures for you, which isn't typical, right? Usually it's just clips of Greek and Latin, things like that. We're going to actually look at the manuscript. There are some very interesting features in the manuscript. And I'm going to give you my own personal theory on what exactly is going on with this manuscript. And that's going to be a lot of fun. So that's coming up here on the Chill Stream. And by the way, for those who are just joining us, please do me a favor. If you wouldn't mind, hit the like button and the alarm button. Also consider sharing it. Tell your friends about it. Let's grow the channel, especially at this weird hour. We've slowly been growing actually in Chill Streams, almost to the point where it's starting to get to some of the lower end numbers that we get during the daytime Steam streams. So that's really encouraging. That's why I hate to break our pattern. But unless I'm going to do a Chill Stream Christmas Eve, I guess the pattern is probably going to be broken. But we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to think what else. Also, if you're new to the Chill Stream, the reason why I'm talking in subdued tones is because it is currently 3:37 here in the Detroit area, and my family's asleep, so I don't want to wake up anybody. Hence the Chill Stream. We're chill here, and as we're going through the history of the Old Testament canon, and I'm pumped and thrilled to be with all of you, as is Denzel. Oh, that's not Denzel. Excuse me. Yeshua is God, 777. Thrilled and pumped. I'm thrilled and pumped you're with us. Also, Reborn Sinner is here as well. God bless you, and I appreciate that. Yes, prayers. When it's the Chill Stream, we're pretty chill. Yes, let's see. There's some discussions here. Let's see who else is here. Lino is in the house. Lino, how you doing? Hope you're having a fantastic Advent. Looking forward to celebrating the Feast of the Nativity. Ronan, my man, you're here. Good morning. Good to see you. By the way, I'm not familiar with that picture. Can you tell me who that is? It doesn't look familiar, and yet it does. That's the weird thing. It sort of looks familiar, but I can't put my finger on who that is. Yes, so everybody's saying good morning, everybody. God bless you. Reason Belief is in the house. God bless you. Reason Belief, go to Reason Belief's channel, share, like, hit the alarm button and all that. Hope everything is well in jolly old England. And I hope you have a good work day. I don't know. Reason, do you have off for Christmas, or are you on your way to work as you occasionally jump on your way to work? And by the way, do you get a lot of snow there, wherever you are? And by the way, guys, I'm an official honorary Aussie. Well, I don't know official. I still haven't got the certificate. But I like to think of myself as an official honorary Aussie. And I told you I worked with a brilliant law professor from Australia. He was, I think, the only Australian I think I've met in my life. Anyway, he was kind enough one Christmas to give me a calendar from Australia, which is pretty cool because the months are inverse of the months here. So it's summertime for you guys down under. And I wonder if that gives a different vibe for Christmas. I don't know. Do you ever dream of a white Christmas down under? If that was my summer, I wouldn't. It's currently foggy and damp. Oh, that's too bad. Well, at least you don't have ice. I hate ice. Elijah Catholic's in the house. Hey, Elijah, thanks for coming on board. Certificate and snacks coming very soon, brother. Awesome. You know I'm teasing you about that. I am so thrilled and pumped for all the things you've done. Reborn Center, you really make me feel at home down under. And so it's very summertime, beach and backyard cricket, football. Awesome. I would love a winter Christmas once. Okay, yeah, I wondered if it's a white Christmas. It's not all that it's cracked up to be, to tell you the truth, but it does look pretty. Um, in a perfect world for me, I would like it to start snowing today, be nice and white, Christmas Eve, Christmas, and then go to 70-degree heat. Everything melts, and that's it for winter. I know. It's weird. Everybody here who lives in the Michigan, practically everybody hates the winter. We all live here and complain. And by the way, if you're out of country, you've never heard of Michigan before, if you look at a globe and go to the United States, you'll see a little mitten. Let's see, is that right? Mitten. And that's me. That's the peninsula I live on, the Lower Peninsula. And yeah, most people here hate it, which is kind of funny because you would think people living in this climate would love winter and skiing and all that stuff, but not in the cities. Cities are pretty miserable. And we're the ugly sweaters. It's been so hot here. We all been in tank tops and shorts. Well, enjoy it while it lasts. That's why I always tell myself during summer when it's super, super hot, I just think of how miserable I'll be in the dead of winter. And I thank God for the heat. And then when I'm miserable in the winter, I think about how hot it was in summer. And I still thank God for the heat. Yes, Zeke is in the house. Hey, Zeke. Zeke, I'm surprised you're up this early. Although, you know what? I'm not sure where you're from, so maybe it isn't early for you. So true. Yeah, enjoy season while you're in them. Yeah, it's all part of the experience, folks. It's all part of the experience. That's why I tell myself. Washington State. Okay, so wow. So this has got to be really late for you then. So that's probably about midnight. I think you're about 4 hours, 3 or 4 hours behind me. In Washington State, you guys get snow. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It's always weird when you're by a large body of water. Yep, I was close. Hey, all right. Yeah, that's right. 3 hours behind me. Well, hey, I'm glad you joined me, and hopefully I can make you stay awake. Hey, James Tay is back. Hey, James, how you doing? How was your trip? Are you back home or are you still in Italy? And Daniel, by the way, I don't know if you saw the streams that David and I did last week, but you want to check it out. David did a fantastic presentation on Philo of Alexandria. Very interesting how he was connecting dots. I'm back. Okay. Well, now, hey, that's awesome. Now that you're back, maybe I will, maybe that's what I'll do. I'll do my first ever members only chill stream. Except I can't do it on Christmas Eve or Christmas, obviously. But someday we'll do it. I promise you guys. Let's see. Daniel, hey, welcome. I didn't recognize your name, so it looks like you're new to the stream. Hey, thanks for joining us. Will you include the councils in your chill stream series? Yes, I will. In fact, they're coming up very soon. We already did Laodicea, and we are right on the precipice of Augustine. And so we'll do Augustine, we'll do the North African councils. We did the Council of Rome a couple of chill streams ago. So yes, we will. And I'm also going to try to feather in councils, local councils and stuff that you probably never heard of that use the Deuterocanon. So, yeah, we got a lot coming up. Thank you for joining this channel, by the way. I know a lot of you are lurking out there, and we don't know you're lurking unless you put a comment. So it'd be great if you can. Actually, I shouldn't be watching Laugh Out Loud. Can't have you putting me to sleep. Oh, that's not good. I need not to have jet lag. Oh, I bet you probably got big time jet lag. Flying all over the place. I think you're based somewhere in Singapore and flew out to Italy. I'm not sure where else you went, but we're glad you made it home safe and sound. Thanks be to God. Yeah, we're all friends here in the channel. Oh, that was nice. Thank you. Thank you. Considering being part of Gaza's Patreon, I am pronouncing it right? Now I'm double thinking myself. Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, we have fun with our patrons. Always putting up stuff. By the way, if you become a patron, you get, as soon as I'm done here, I jump on Patreon, upload the PowerPoint. So patrons are getting this huge library of presentation material. So if you're ever dialoguing with a non-Catholic and they want some sort of resource, all you have to do is go on Patreon, search for the resource. If we've covered it, you got the PowerPoints. You can even do a presentation for them, and you don't have to work. Plus, you get free ebooks and all sorts of goodies. I appreciate it, guys. Listen to me while exercising. Okay, cool. You know, the funny thing is, I do the same thing with God Logic. If I'm not putting on my jams, by the way, I have an awesome 1980s jam list that I listen to while I'm pumping iron, which I usually do right after the chill stream. After I put my stuff on Patreon, I go pump some iron, get a good workout in for starting the day. If I'm not listening to my jams, I'm listening to God Logic. So I get you, Zeke. It's great because you get the heart pumping. That way you actually stay awake. You're doing all right. That's awesome. Thank you. Learning so fast. Well, you know, I don't know if I can speak Aussie. It's tough. But you can help me. You know, Reborn Sinner, we should maybe have a segment on the show. You can come on, teach me one term that in Aussie, and I'll teach you one term from Detroit. And before you know it, you'll be speaking like you live in the hood, and I'll be speaking like I'm in the Crocodile Dundee movie. And I mean that with respect. The Crocodile Dundee movies were pretty cool. Tears for Fears, baby. Yes, I got Tears for Fears on my list. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. I got that live. I got a lot of good jams, and I also like it live. So I like live performances while I'm pumping iron. Have chill streams dating back to Greg Nazianzus to catch up. Wow, yeah, you got a lot to catch up, my friend. And he's also, by the way, James Tay is awesome. I believe he's a patron member, so you got all the material there. Love that. I'll email you with some ideas. Yeah, let's do that. That'd be fun. We could see it as some sort of cross-cultural exchange. I got to send, in fact, to do that, I need to send you some stuff from Detroit. I'm not sure what to send you, though. You're not allowed to mail weapons, so we can't do that. I could send like a T-shirt, or I don't know. Most of the stuff in Detroit that we're known for, outside of once being the murder capital of the world, we have Detroit-style pizza, which I can't send you, which is too bad. We have a bunch of soda pop and potato chips. I don't know. I'd have to think of what I could send you as part of this cultural exchange. We'll figure it out. But yeah, I'd love to do that. We can communicate with each other. You could help me with my accent. I'll help you with the accent. It'll be fun. Can you do a Tears for Fears thumbnail? I could. But I had to think of some iconic thing that they did. And I don't know if they have anything iconic. Is there a particular like album cover or CD cover that everybody would recognize as Tears for Fears? But I could just do a concert. I've done that. It's kind of fun. Can you imagine the Apocrypha Apocalypse team's faces on Van Halen? I should probably do that. That'd be hilarious. Have William Albrecht as David Lee Roth. That would be hilarious. You don't have to send anything. It's just enough for us to be. No. I'd love to. I just don't know what I could send you that's distinctively Detroit. But that would be cool. You could scare people. It gives you automatic street cred. So I'll try to think of what I can send you. That's the one thing nice about being a Detroiter, folks, is people around the world are scared of you. The other nice thing about being a Detroiter is everywhere outside of Detroit is a vacation spot. So you can travel in some really nasty areas of America, and it looks great. It's actually a little disarming. That actually happened to a friend of mine. I had a talk. I was speaking at a conference in Kansas. And to get to the conference, we were driving a specific route. I get to the conference, and the person there asked how we got there. We described the route, and they said, "Oh, you went through that. That was a horrible neighborhood. You're lucky something bad didn't happen to you." And the funny thing is, as my friend and I were driving through this area, we were commenting about how nice the area was and how we'd love to live there. That's one of the problems of being a Detroiter. You lose all sense of danger. Every place looks safe. Let's see. James stated, if there is one accent in the world that Caucasians sound so fake when speaking, it is Singaporean accent, especially our form of English, Slinglish. I didn't know that, James. I don't even know how that would sound, to tell you the truth. I couldn't even do a Singaporean accent without offending the entire hemisphere. SoCal Preston's in the house. Hey, greetings, SoCal. It's great to be with you. By the way, guys, SoCal Preston, you got to go and show some love to his channel as well. If you haven't, do some likes and stuff. He is going to be doing round 2 of a debate with T-Fan on the Canon. It was a grudge match. I think it was pretty heated, the first debate. He's going to do a rematch. We're going to do another watch party on the Apocrypha Apocalypse channel. So show some love, and also don't forget to subscribe and stuff so you get notified when the watch party comes up. We're going to have a ton of fun, SoCal. I can't wait. I know you can't wait. Everybody's thrilled and pumped for the rematch. It's going to be great. Can't wait. Okay. Let's see here. It's at 4:00, and I think everybody's warmed up and ready to go. Ready for a nice nap. So why don't we head into the meat and potatoes area? Oh, wait. Hold on. We got somebody backstage.
Hello.
Hi, how you doing, James?
Good. I went through all holy doors this trip.
Okay. Yeah. How was your trip?
It was good. Went from Turin, then went to Milan, Turin, then Milan, then Florence, then Assisi, and then went to Rome.
Nice. Beautiful. How was the weather?
Cold.
Cold?
Go back to Singapore, like much colder.
Yeah. Well, it's I heard it's pretty like summer in Italy is pretty sweltering hot, you know.
I heard the summer in Italy is like warmer to Singapore, so so I guess winter is better.
Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Good. So you said that Singaporean accent is very hard to copy.
Yeah, it's like like unless you live in Singapore for like your entire life,
Yeah.
it will just sound like somehow fake.
Yeah. Right. Can you imitate it for us? Like how a fake Singaporean accent would sound?
Not really, honestly.
Okay. Okay. No problem. I thought I'd put you on the spot. Because, yeah, it's kind of hard to do that. Yeah.
Because it's like, to do that, I would have to know how to speak it in a non-Singaporean accent in the first place.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, I believe it. I believe it. And,
It's actually even more fake when you try to speak Singlish.
yeah. Yeah, it would be different. It'd be very difficult for Westerners.
Yeah.
Just speaking Singaporean would be hard, I think.
Yeah.
It's so different from English.
Because we have like all the Chinese, like a lot of Chinese dialects, then also Malay and Tamil and maybe some other Indian languages as well added into our vocabulary. So that's why it's like, and then yeah, a lot of Westerners think that we always like to add la and law, but it's not every sentence. Like there's actually specific rules like when to add it. Like we actually have there's a specific reason when we add them. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Well, great. Well, I'm thankful that you had a safe trip, and it sounds like a beautiful trip. I heard Assisi is beautiful. Of course, Rome is awesome. A lot of history. Great.
Yes. I got some great pics of Pope Leo.
Yeah. Hey, we missed you on the chill streams. It's been so hard for us to come up with a secret word without you. So we're glad that you're back safe and sound.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't able to attend for like the past 3 weeks since 1 week I was in Cambodia, then the next 2 weeks I was off to Italy.
Yeah. Yeah. How bad was the jet lag?
To Italy, not so bad because we forced ourselves to stay awake the entire first day, so we are able to adjust quickly. So the jet lag wasn't that bad.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's good. All right. Well, anything you want to say or
not much.
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, Avi and I will bring you on for some purgatory streams soon.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you next year.
I look forward to it. Yeah. Yes. And in fact, I always forget to plug your channel. So it is, tell everybody what the channel is so they can go there and like it.
The channel is Catholic Apologetics Hub. Yeah.
That's right. Catholic Apologetics Hub, guys. And really good stuff. Although they have, they made the mistake of having me on. So that's going to suppress your numbers. But
we're going to have you on again for the purgatory stream. So I guess you're going to make even more mistakes.
Yeah, there you go. You're never going to grow the channel if you keep having me on. So, all right. Well, take care, my friend. God bless.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Awesome. All right. James Tay's back. So, all right. So I think we'll have a secret word today. But let's go to the meat and potatoes part, shall we? All right. So, oops, there's the thumbnail. By the way, anybody know what movie this is from? And I'll give you a hint. AI messed this up. For some reason, I'm not looking at the ball when Adam Sandler is looking at the golf ball because he's yelling at it. So that's probably too much of a giveaway. If you can guess the movie, I will give you a Pop-Tart in the chat room. He's already got the secret word. Porto Sancto. Okay. Nobody can guess this movie. Adam Sandler movie about golf. Happy Gilmore. Happy Gilmore. Funny movie. Especially if you're a hockey fan. Hey, there you go. Ronan got it. And Reborn Sinner got it. Awesome. Yes, Happy Gilmore. There must be a delay. So I'll give you guys a Pop-Tart. Here you go. This is what I do in my classes, by the way, when I teach middle school, high school kids. They give a right answer. I give them a virtual Pop-Tart. Enjoy, guys. Virtually. Okay, so today, like I said, we're scrambling because Dr. David, in his magic abilities to do research, gave me a whole bunch of stuff on Theodore Mopsuestia, which I need to go through and think through and parse out and make PowerPoints and stuff. So I'm doing this instead. It's a little bit out of sequence, but it's close enough, so it's not going to mess us up. So what is a codex? A codex basically is a ancient version of a book. Okay. In New Testament times, basically the Bible was a set of scrolls, and the problem with scrolls is it's hard to find things in it. You have to unroll the scroll, and to find the areas, it's hard to do that. And also you can only fit maybe 2, 3, maybe 4 books tops in one scroll. Codex, which is like a bound volume, of course, you can find things very quickly, and also you can fit all sorts of books. In fact, it's limited only by the physical size of the codex. And early codex, by the way, codices were very, very large. So this is a codex, so it's a bound volume of a Bible. And Claromontanus, the sigla is D. There's actually a whole bunch of siglas. And we were going to go to Gallagher and Mead. There's only a couple of sources that speak about this. By the way, I'm sorry about the glare. This is from my Kindle, and Kindle highlighting is pretty messy. But they do a nice job giving background information. In the 16th century, scholar Theodore Beza, which, by the way, is a Protestant scholar, very famous, discovered the 6th century Greek and Latin codex of the Pauline epistles. So there's the two siglas for this, DP or O6, in the monastery of Clermont and Debussy, I have no idea, in northern France. Sorry for murdering the French. Naming the manuscript after the location of its discovery, within the Codex Claromontanus, 4 pages separate Hebrews from Philemon, or Philemon, which someone has used to copy a Latin catalog of books. So oddly enough, between the Epistle of Hebrews and Philemon or Philemon, you have this list. This happens. I don't know why, but it happens. The catalog contains the Latin names of the Old Testament, New Testament books, along with their strichometry, which basically is a count of lines. So you'll find this in some lists. They'll tell you how many lines are in a particular book, so you can more or less check it against, for authenticity, whether things are missing, so on and so forth. The handwriting and the ink indicate that the scribe who copied the catalog was not the scribe of the Pauline Codex. The Latin list may be a translation of an earlier Greek list, although scholars have argued for other positions as well. Scholars have typically dated this list to the 4th century, perhaps even a little earlier, but beyond that general time frame, there is more disagreement. While some scholars emphasize the features of the list would be unusual In the later 4th century, the inclusion of the Apocalypse of Peter, for instance, thus indicating an earlier date. Others emphasize features that would be unusual for earlier 4th century, namely the inclusion of all 7 Catholic epistles, and therefore for somewhat of a later date. So it's like this list is not part of the Codex. This was added by somebody else. The list appears to be from an earlier period, hence, even though the Codex, I think, is 6th century, that's when the Bible was made. This list that was copied in this Bible appears to come from an earlier time, most likely sometime in the 4th century. And as Gallagher and Mead point out, it's unusual, and that makes it hard to date because it's like it can't be too late because it includes the Gospel of Peter, Apocalypse of Peter, and it can't be too early because it has all 7 Catholic epistles, which you typically wouldn't find in earlier list. So the dating is kind of up in the air, as most dating is. Scholars, it's basically an educated guess. My personal opinion is I think it's quite possible. I think 4th century in general, I would tend to have it a little earlier than later, simply because the presence of the Apocalypse of Peter would be unusual. But I think the list itself indicates that the Apocalypse of Peter is not part of the canon. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the inclusion of the Catholic epistles, I think, who's to say that it wasn't included earlier, So anyway, something to think about. And yes, thank you. Appreciate that, Reborn Sinner. You rock. Okay, so continuing on with Gallagher and Mead. They have this to say about the Old Testament canon. The Old Testament matches fairly closely the canon later approved at the Council of Trent. All the books of the Jewish canon are included here, with the exception of Chronicles. One sign of several that the list was carelessly transcribed. See notes below. In addition, this stichometric catalog includes deuterocanonical books of Wisdom of Solomon, Wisdom of Sirach, Judith Tobit, 1st and 2nd Maccabees, as well as 4th Maccabees. Interesting enough. By the way, this is one of those times where 4th Maccabees makes a very, very rare appearance. So that's interesting in and of itself. The title Jeremiah may contain additional material such as Lamentations and Baruch, although these texts go unmentioned. So it contains the Deuterocanon plus 4th Maccabees. It misses Chronicles, which is an obvious oversight. I think it'd be very unusual to miss Chronicles. And yes, there is lots of evidence that whoever made this list wasn't very careful. And that's going to be important later on, because I'm going to give you my own theory on the list, and I'm going to take that into consideration. There's actually lots of indications where the stichometric calculations are wrong or off. And of course, the omission of Chronicles would be an oversight. And there's other things too that show that whoever made this list, they weren't very careful. Is there an alternative explanation for Chronicles' absence than simply carelessness? Well, I mean, it could be on purpose. But the only person that I know of that did not accept Chronicles would be Theodore Mopsuestia, which was supposed to be today's presentation. I don't believe anybody else in the early church had any problems with Chronicles. But this list is in Latin. Scholars think it comes from a Greek list, but Theodore of Mopsuestia wrote in Syriac. So I doubt if this list has anything to do with Syria. So I think I think basically carelessness is the most likely. And the fact that this list has all sorts of bloopers and errors and stuff, I think it just adds to the probability it is just a mistake. So thank you, Zeke. Yeah, that's a great question. That's basically what you need to do is you need to kind of make inferences from what's known to what's not known. So, okay, so this, by the way, the list here is called a Codex Claromontanus, if you want to impress your friends by giving the Latin. It omits Philippians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and Hebrews, but it includes the Epistle of Barnabas, the Shepherd of Hermas, Acts of Paul, and Revelation of Peter, interesting enough. And it also includes, as Gallagher Mead pointed out, Judith, Tobit, Wisdom, Sirach, 1st and 2nd Maccabees, 4th Maccabees, and likely includes Baruch, the Epistle, and also Lamentations under Jeremiah. And hey, Janice, Justified Janice has done a gift subscription. Wow, thank you. Giving out Christmas gifts early. Merry Christmas to you as well. And Suburban Banshee is the recipient. So, hey, that's awesome. Thank you so much, Janice. As always, it's great to see you on the in the chat room. Let's see here. Okay, so here we have. This is from Gallagher and Mead's book, Early Canon List. I just copied it off my Kindle, and it gives you. They did a nice job here, I have to admit. They give you the Latin, and they give you the English translation, just in case you're wondering how it's going to look. Because when we look at the manuscript, guys, it's not very easy to read. So it's nice that they have this printed off, and that's why I'm sharing it with you. I highlight the Deuterocanonical books. So you have Sapientia, which is, of course, wisdom, and then the wisdom of Jesus, which is Sirach. You have of Maccabees. You have 1st, 2nd, and 4th. And by the way, Mead and Gallagher think that 3rd Maccabees is accidentally omitted. I'm not so sure about that, but it is not there. Followed by Judith, and then you see Tobias. So there's all the Deuterocanonical books. And here's the New Testament, or the rest of the Old Testament, then the New Testament, 1st and 2nd Corinthians, Galatians, Ephesians, 1st, 2nd Timothy, Titus, to the Colossians, to Philemon, now this is interesting. This is another sign that this was sloppily done, or hastily done, or however you want to say it. Instead of saying 1 Peter, 2 Peter, in Latin it has ad petrum, prima, and ad petrum, then 2, right? Which means 2 Peter, 1 and 2, or 1st and 2nd. Which is weird because the epistles of Peter is not to Peter, it's from Peter. So that's a boo-boo. That's one of several mistakes on here. So yeah, there's lots of problems with it. It wasn't, whoever wrote this down wasn't very careful. Then you have Epistle of Jude, Barnabas, Epistle, Revelation of John, Acts of the Apostles, of the Shepherd, Acts of Paul, and Revelation of Peter. Okay, and you give the line numbers as well. So that's the list. Now let's get into the fun stuff, guys. We're going to actually start looking at the codex itself. And this is a zoomed up picture of the unusual books, the Epistle of Barnabas, Revelation of John, Acts of the Apostles, Pastor of the Pastor, Acts of was it Acts of Paul, Acts of Peter, I think it is. Revelation of Peter. There we go. Now notice this, guys. Did you see these little dash marks? I have it highlighted here. This is an interesting feature of the manuscript. They put little dashes next to these books. And notice the dashes are for Barnabas, Shepherd, Acts of Paul, and Revelation of Peter. So whoever did this list is trying to highlight for the reader these particular books. Now, why do you think he's highlighting these particular books? What do all these books have in common? Well, hey, all right, Ronan. Hey, welcome aboard. Great to have you as a member. It's apparently because they're trying to tell the reader that there's something wrong with these books. There's something different about them. And judging from what they are, I would say they're flagging it as not being part of the Bible or not being part of the canon, although this list doesn't specify it's a canon list. Okay? This is going to be important, guys. So you see these little dashes. Now, is the dashes part of the original? I don't know. The ink kind of looks like it's the same color, but the scholars have noted this as well. For example, in the footnote 62, Gallagher and Mead point out that this horizontal stroke appears before the reference to 1 Peter, possibly indicating that it should not be counted as one of the Pauline letters. On a similar horizontal stroke appears before 4 of the final 6 books in this catalog, see below. Now, so Gallagher and Mead point out that there is a horizontal line for 1 Peter. And then they point out that these other books likewise have horizontal lines. Now, Bruce M. Metzger in the New Testament Canon book has this to say about the list. So I'm going to read this for you. The absence of Philippians, 1st and 2nd Thessalonians, and Hebrews is probably to be accounted for as an error of the scribe or translator, whose eye may have jumped from Ephesians to Hebrews. As you can see here, if you're reading this really quick, it could appear that Ephesians looks a lot like Hebrews. So perhaps that's like a slip of the eye, okay, which I think is quite possible. That could account for it. And that the scribe was not very attentive is shown by his continuing the list with the two epistles to Peter, followed then by James, 1st, 2nd, 3rd John, and Jude. The list closes with the Epistle of Barnabas, the Revelation of John, Acts of the Apostles, the Shepherd, the Acts of Paul, and the Apocalypse of Peter. It is significant that 4 of the titles in the list have a short horizontal line extending into the left margin. These lines mark Barnabas, the Shepherd, the Acts of Paul, and the Apocalypse of Peter. Very likely the purpose of these lines to distinguish these titles from those in the list, basically. So it's interesting that notice he didn't say there was a line before 1 Peter. He only focuses on, these what we would call apocryphal New Testament text, where Gallagher and Mead, to their credit, point out that 1 Peter also has a horizontal line. Okay. And they're both true, but the funny thing is, both these guys are missing another stroke. By the way, here is 2 Peter, first book. You can see the horizontal line here, right? So it indicates there's a problem with 1 Peter. So here I want to show you that you have Wisdom of Solomon, Sirach. There are no lines to indicate that something's wrong about these books being part of the list. Interesting enough. But all of them miss this one, and that is the book of Judith has a line. You can see this. It's not super clear. It's like right on the margin. And you can see Judith as well. On the bottom, I give you a blow up. So Gallagher and Mead, I got to point this out to you guys. Gallagher and Mead, which we've been very critical of in this chill streams, This is a clip from my Kindle version of Gallagher and Mead's book, Canon List. Notice, guys, in the margin, you can see that they physically put the dashes in for you. Okay, which was very nice for them to do that. However, when it comes to the Deuterocanon, it's cut off. So this is, I deliberately clipped this so you can see what appears on the page. You can see on the right-hand side, we have the Maccabees, 1st, 2nd, 4th highlighted, Judith highlighted, and Tobit highlighted. But if you look, it's cut off. You can't see any dashes. So we don't know whether Gallagher and Mead actually forgot to mention that Judith has a dash. I would think they missed it. Okay, how can I say this? Okay, I don't think this is on purpose. Most likely, whoever put together the Kindle version, whoever at Oxford University Press put this together, I think they clipped it or cropped it in such a way that they cut off the margin. I don't think they're trying to hide anything. So let me say that at the outset. I think it's just the editor put it in such a way that if there was a dash, we don't see it. Okay. I think they missed it mainly because Gallagher and Mead are very much for the Protestant canon. We've pointed out their bias throughout these chill streams. So if they were aware that there was a dash before Judith, I'm pretty sure they would make a big deal about it. I don't think it's in their notes or anything, but I could be wrong. So anyway, notice it doesn't mention Judith. So notice, guys, I'm erring actually against the Deuterocanon here. Like, I'm a Catholic apologist, but I'm pointing out something that Protestants have missed that actually speak against the Deuterocanon. Okay? So I'm showing you my fairness, but enjoy it while it lasts because I have a theory about this. Okay? And, okay. So what's my theory? The theory is both Metzger, Gallagher, and Mead, I think every scholar recognizes that this list is very sloppy. And we're not sure exactly where the sloppiness comes from, whether it's in the original or it's in the translator. But nevertheless, there's lots of reasons to believe that this list was indeed carelessly transcribed. Okay, boy, I can't speak. I got to wake up. Okay, so if that's true for the list, if the list is so careless that it could actually miss Chronicles, an entire book, or two books actually, what do you think the chances are that they would make a mistake with a dash? Okay, so this is my theory. I think Judith is a mistake. And I think 1 Peter is a mistake as well. Here's why. Judith, if you're going to include the Deuterocanon, Judith is never omitted. Okay? You might have omissions with maybe 2nd Maccabees, obviously 3rd and 4th Maccabees, or the whole Maccabees. You might have Baruch omitted. I don't know, right? But not Judith, and not Tobit, not Wisdom, and not Sirach, because they are so well attested as being part of this group of books that for them to be disputed or singled out as disputed doesn't make any sense. Like, why would Judith be disputed, but Tobit not, or Sirach not? You get my point? In fact, here's the 3 great codices in the 4th and 5th centuries. This is copied from Lee MacDonald's book, Bible Canon. And notice all 3 great codices includes Judith. Okay? They all include Judith. There's no reason why Judith would be singled out. If they're going to flag Judith, they should have flagged all of the deuterocanonical books. That makes me wonder whether the person who made the dashes that put this list down, whether they did it in a haphazard way. Okay. So this is my theory, guys. It might be true, it might be false. This is how I look at it. Great question, Zeke. With codices, how do you identify whether the church that read from it viewed the text as inspired or ecclesiastical? Well, I don't think you can from codices. Codices doesn't give us a lot of information because basically codices are kind of, they're like deluxe Bibles. They like to include extra material simply because these were being read as part of the lectionary in the early church. They're part of the readings, right? And so if a priest is giving a homily, they might want to use extra material in their homilies. So it'd be nice to have a deluxe Bible that includes it so you don't have to do it from memory, right? So codices tend to be expansive rather than contractive. So that being said, the fact that a book is in a codex doesn't necessarily mean it's part of scripture per se. But I think one telltale sign, like for example, Judith was considered part of the text, is the fact that it's not segregated from the text. They're intermixed. The Deuterocanon's intermixed with the Proto-Canon. There doesn't seem to be any distinction or qualification. Now, if the Deuterocanonical books were placed after the New Testament, that would be a sign that they did not believe it was authentic, because it would be taken out of its natural order and unnaturally placed at the end of the New Testament. That could indicate it's spurious. It doesn't necessarily indicate it's spurious or that there is a problem with it. Because remember, the Muratorian fragment approves the wisdom of Solomon after the New Testament, maybe as part of the New Testament, but it's clearly affirming it, not denying it. So even that's a little dubious, but generally if it's placed at the end, that could be a possible indication that there's doubts or something like that. But that would be my answer to you. Yeah, they're Greek Bibles. That's right. But indicating, but that's probably the best you can do. It's kind of hard to use codices as evidence. But my main point here is this. There's no indication in the great codices, roughly written around the same time as this list, of Judith in any way, shape, or form being singled out as causing doubts, which makes that very unusual that this list would single out Judith. So here's my theory, guys. I think it's a slip of the eye. Why? Because right above Judith, as you can see here on the upper right-hand side, the red is Judith. Right above it is 4th Maccabees. Okay. So I think when they put the dash in, they made a boo-boo. Instead of highlighting Judith, it should have highlighted 4th Maccabees. 4th Maccabees, unlike Judith, is not found. I think it's only found in Alexandrinus. It's omitted in Synecticus and Vaticanus. 4th Maccabees is also absent from canonical list. It's very, very weakly attested in the early church fathers. Of all the books that's listed from the Old Testament in this list, 4th Maccabees would be the most dubious. Okay. So where Judith, like I said, is never distinguished when it comes to the Deuterocanon as being particularly problematic, right? So I think he intended to put the dash by 4th Maccabees, but because he's sloppy, he accidentally singled Judith, which was right below it. And, Judith looks a little bit like, where it says lib quatuor, right? Quatuorus. The lib looks a little bit like Jude. So maybe he made a mistake. That would make more sense, that he would flag 4th Maccabees than Judith. And it's interesting that it's right next to each other. Another thing too, I don't believe 1 Peter was meant to be signaled either. And the reason I say that is 1 Peter is almost always included or approved in the early church. There really isn't any dispute about 1 Peter. 2 Peter, on the other hand, is frequently disputed. It's one of the last books that basically get affirmed. There's lots of disputes about 2 Peter. And notice here, guys, of course, 2 Peter follows 1 Peter. So perhaps instead of indicating 1 Peter, maybe it should have indicated 2 Peter. Again, it's like I misses it by a line. So you could probably think of the scribe. He's writing this down. He's going through very quickly. He misses Chronicles. He makes a bunch of gaffes, like to Peter instead of from Peter. And then he goes back and he does the little checklist. He's like, oh, I need to single out Barnabas and these other books that shouldn't be here. And he goes through it and he's like, oh, 4th Maccabees. He accidentally does Judith. And then 1 Peter. He said, oh, 2 Peter, I got to mark that. Looks up, he sees that Petrum, and he puts it in the wrong place. So I think this is an error. But that's just my theory. I didn't find anybody that makes that theory. But to me, it makes a lot of sense. It makes more sense than what the dashes indicate. Because otherwise, you have the weird phenomenon of Judith being flagged, even though Judith is so solid when it comes to those books in general, where 4th Maccabees, which is disputed, gets affirmed, oddly enough. And also 3rd Maccabees is omitted. And then you have the other odd phenomenon where you have 1 Peter, which is almost never denied, being disputed, and 2 Peter, which is almost always disputed, is apparently affirmed, right? It doesn't make sense to me. And so if we can conjecture about how sloppy this person was and putting wrong, the stereometric are off, the titles of the books, some of them are wrong, he's missing books, do you think he'd be more accurate when it comes to a little line next to a book? I think not. So that's my theory. I'm sticking with it. But it's kind of cool that here on the Apocrypha Apocalypse, we're able to unveil something about this list that you won't find anywhere else. Like if you're reading Gallagher, Mead, Bruce M. Metzger, you wouldn't know about Judith. At least I don't think you would. In fact, let me double check, because I don't want to cast shade on people unfairly. So let me look really quick just to make sure that it is not flagged in the footnotes here in Gallagher and Mead. Looking really quick. By the way, do me a favor, hit the like button and consider subscribing. We are getting really close, guys, to crossing the 13.6K mark on subscriptions. And we truly appreciate your support. Guys, I thought when I started, I thought if I get 100 subscribers, that would be totally amazing, that there's actually 100 people out there that are nerdy enough to be concerned about the canon. Not only did we cross the 100, we crossed the 1,000. Now they crossed the 1,000, 2,000. I thought 2,000 we're going to stop. This is not going to grow any more than a couple of thousand people. Guys, we are at 13.5 100K. And that's because of you. That's not me. That's all you out there sharing, telling people about the stream, coming to the chill streams, hitting the like button, sharing it with friends, subscribing. It's all you. So from the bottom of my heart, since it's Christmas time, I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel, supporting the ministry. Please consider becoming a member. You get all sorts of goodies. Plus, you get to have a powwow with me on Sundays. And maybe I'm going to do one around this time slot as well. I think we need to grow a little bit more. But I'm going to try it and see who shows up and how well it goes. Yeah, I don't see Gallagher and Mead mentioning Judith. Let me double check. I want to make sure I don't unfairly categorize them. Uh, 65. I should have done this earlier. Let's see what footnote 65 is. No, they don't catch it. So you guys get an exclusive here. Okay. Sorry for scaring you guys by putting my face that close to the camera. So if you have any questions, put it up in the chat room. Or if you want to come backstage, the link is there. And I would love to grow the channel, especially at this time slot. Maybe we can do some open challenges and we can have some debates, especially with our brothers and sisters down under. I'd love to hear your explanation why the Protestant canon is the true canon. So far, haven't heard anything persuasive. I don't know, so Kel, have you heard anything persuasive? I haven't. So what do you think of my theory, too? I'm curious whether that makes sense or not. Let me know in the chat room. Also, when's the next chill stream going to be? Well, guys, let's see. I probably seriously doubt I'm going to do the chill stream Christmas Eve. I might do it Friday. I'm not sure. So you guys got to hit the alarm and be aware. I don't know if we're going to do a Friday one, but we definitely will have one next Monday for sure. Or is that New Year's? I don't know. My dates are all messed up. Yes, the ideas, got some ideas going, pumped. The viewership's up. Yeah, I am too. Get a lot of nerds. Yeah, by the way, Reborn Center is an honorary nerd. And I guess all of you are, if you're watching this stream. You got to be a nerd, which isn't necessarily bad. Okay, guys. Well, I think that does it for today. We need the secret word. James Tay, since you're back and we missed you, do you have the secret word? I know you put something out earlier, but do you want to stick with that? We'll let you select for a change. What's the secret word, guys? It will only ever be honorary, so I appreciate it. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, I don't think you're a nerd, but we'll count you as a nerd. Pray for my discernment into the Catholic faith. Absolutely, Zeke. You are in my prayers. I will put you on my daily prayer list. Not really a need. I seek truth. Awesome. James, are you awake? I think James I think he dozed off from the jet lag. Okay, guys, how about you? What's a good secret word? Sometimes this helps. Let's see, remove. There we go. Sometimes Deuterocanonical books is a secret word. That's a long secret word. But you know what, Lino? You have stood by me in my trials. And I'm not going to confer a kingdom on you because I'm not a king. But I will bestow the secret word upon you today. The secret word will be Deuterocanonical books. So guys, get ready to type Deuterocanonical in the chat room. And that way you can flex. You can show the world that you stayed awake during one of my presentations, which is actually quite astounding. So I hope all of you have a beautiful, wonderful Christmas. Like I said, I don't know if we're going to do a team stream. I'd love to do it with my friends, David and William. It's all in God's will. So keep your eye out. No chill stream Christmas Eve. Almost 99.9% sure, because I'm going to be working trying to get the Theodore Mopsuestia stuff under my belt. But stay tuned. Keep your eye open. And I hope all of you have a wonderful, blessed Christmas. And if I don't see you again, Happy New Year as well. Until next time, guys, I am Gary Michuta. God bless. Bye-bye.